Hey friends, welcome back to the Freedom Equation podcast. My name is Michaela Bell.
And I'm Scott.
And over the next couple episodes, we're talking about some common myths that hold us back from having a freedom mindset. If you missed the last one, that was a good one.
You got to watch it. Watch it.
For sure. And today we're going to be talking about myth number 2, which is if I want it done right, I have to do it myself.
I have struggled with this like crazy. I know you have as well. And I guarantee a lot of people that are at the growing phase of their business have either been stuck there or are currently stuck there.
Or even people who are maybe the CEO and they really shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yep.
They should be the COO or something else, you know?
And that's what we're going to talk about. Some ways that you can learn to do this better. Why we think that ego is actually some of the thing that could play into it. And why we think that maybe some people shouldn't hire anybody. So, you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Myth number 2, what is it?
It is, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself.
Oh, this is a good one.
I know. You can go in on this one.
This is a good one. I think it is the number one. All right, I'm going to say 2 things. Number 1, I think it's the number 1 thing that limits someone from actually scaling their business a million times. But I will also say that not everyone has how to say this. Not everyone should hire people either.
Tell me more.
So there are people that have the mentality that like, oh, no one can do it as good as me. So they're just not hiring because they just have an ego problem. There's other people who genuinely don't like managing people and working with people. And that's actually way worse if you say I want to scale just because I want to scale and I want to have employees, but yet the last thing you want to do is deal with people all the time.
Yeah.
Because that won't work either. But
could they hire like somebody to manage the people?
And maybe, but I think that's down the road, right?
Yeah.
So you still have to be able to manage people before you ever get to a person that manages people.
Right.
Because you have to manage that person in the first place.
Yes.
And I've just seen a lot of people that struggle with it, not necessarily from the ego of like, I can't let go of things, but I just don't like having to pay attention to what everyone's doing with their time.
Right.
But let's talk first about the no one can do it as good as me. I can't. What was the exact myth that you said?
If I want it done right, I have to do it myself.
That is something that I feel like people struggle with because I think I realized a long time ago that they don't have to do it like me in order for it to still be a good product.
Right.
Because that's all ego.
100%.
That's saying they don't edit like me if I'm a video editor. They don't clean like me if I'm a cleaner. Well, that's just you saying that you're the best of all time and no one can ever get to your level. That's an ego problem.
For sure.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is something that we both have struggled with because we've talked about this before. But the first time that I ever hired somebody, it was an office assistant. And that was the first time I realized that all the things that I do repeated, I just have in my brain, but I've never necessarily written it down as a system for somebody else to follow. And so it took me so much time to train her. And she was a student, so she ended up leaving me like a couple months later. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I don't want to do, what a waste of time. And I don't want to do this again. But for a really long time too, like she would do things and I would just sort of cringe inside because it wasn't exactly how I would have done it.
Yeah.
But so one, I wish I would have like developed, SOPs for things. And I feel like you're pretty good at that, developing
I try. Yeah. I mean, protocols and things are good. I think it actually more now I've realized just comes down to if you want someone to do a task, if you want to delegate something, it's not just simply, can you write me I need you to help me write emails. Cool. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to do it good. Like you have to teach people. Jimmy Casas has a book, we've talked about it before, all about leadership, and he has what he calls the delegation cycle. And it's just so important to follow the idea that like you have to show people how to do things. You have to explain how you do things. You have to let them watch how you do it. Then you have to observe how they do it. Then you have to repeat that little cycle until they're at the point where they clearly understand the task.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people are like, I don't have the time to train someone like that. Well, you actually end up, he talks a lot about how you actually end up spending more time trying to fix what they didn't do because you never spent the time in the first place. So you're going to spend the time somewhere.
Right.
You have the choice whether you're going to spend it early, immediately, and realize, hey, this is a short-term sacrifice to get them trained up so that they can do the job great.
Right.
To save time later.
Yes.
And most people skip over A. Or skip over all the beginning part, and then suddenly they're like, this person just doesn't get it. How would they get it? You didn't even teach them anything.
Right.
Like, you just said, this is what I normally do. Do it. So I've realized that with, editors for video company stuff, it's like you're trying to show them stuff. Also understanding, does a person learn better watching and then do something themselves, or do they need to literally be sitting there doing it while you're watching? It's a cycle. And so in your case, you probably did the same thing where it's like you never have time to train in your head. Yeah. And then you end up actually it being complete waste of time for everybody. And you feeling like, I don't want to hire someone again.
Yeah.
Like you gotta put in the time. That's also the problem if you wait too long, which is why like it's always, and it's difficult, but you almost need to kind of anticipate hiring the best you can. And it's a risk because that means money out of your pocket before you maybe necessarily 100% need it. But the problem is if you wait until you are completely underwater and then you say, I'm going to hire someone. Well, now when are you ever going to train?
Right.
You're not going to have time.
Right.
So you have to almost be able to take a risk and say, you know what, this is going to be, I have a little bit of free time right now. This is the best time because I have confidence in myself that I can build up and quote unquote pay for that person.
Right.
Because if not, then you'll never get to it. And then you get super frustrated.
Yep. 100%.
But delegation is something people don't like doing. And first you have to get over your ego of saying, my clients don't know what was in my brain.
Right.
So if someone does something different in an edit or someone does something different in the way that they do a task, is it wrong? No. It might just be different. And once you can get over yourself and realize like it doesn't have to be exactly how. I've learned some of the best ways to do things and the ideas from collaborative of being able to say like, I'm not an expert. Like it's okay for it not to be 100% of me.
Right.
If it's 85% of me in my head, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And if I'm really good at training, it should be good work regardless. And if it's not, that's a leadership issue. That's not an employee issue.
For sure. I think too that I the one thing I wish I would have done a little bit earlier was gotten a business coach earlier, because
Super
I
valuable.
think that it was, once I got a business coach, her name was Hannah Nieves, and she really showed me a lot about like the delegation piece and how to set myself up for success in that arena, because she had failed before. So it's so valuable to have somebody who's further down the line than you to help coach you in that. So be willing to spend the money. You can't expect to
just learn how to just delegate if you've never delegated.
Right.
And then you look at it as a miserable experience when it's not.
Yeah.
You just need to learn.
Yes, exactly.
Coaching's crucial. I mean, find people that are ahead of you.
Yes. And even your circle of people too. Like I have a really amazing group of like 5 women that I really talk to all the time. And we're all in business as well. Many of them, in fact, most of them are further down the road than me. And we all make each other so much better.
And it doesn't matter if they're in the same industry. Like
true. Very true.
A lot of business things, coaching and delegation, all that kind of stuff, it's not industry specific. It's principles. It's principles of business that apply. Most businesses have all the same struggles. They just have different people they're trying to sell to and different things that they're doing with it. But the actual leadership principles apply in every business.
For sure. Even I was just listening to a podcast or watching a podcast with Justin Welsh, I think his name is, and his whole thing is like solopreneur. But even that, he was talking about his office assistant and then his email person and then his person who does the edits. And it's like, so even as a solopreneur, you still have so many things that is very wise to delegate for
Yep.
sure. So
And it's about really thinking what if ego is even something that you're like, hey, that's something I'd struggle with, which is that I don't feel like anyone can do it as good as me. Okay, well then think about what things you 100% have to do and what things do you not have to do that you could delegate.
right.
So if you're looking to get more time back and you say, no one can create a podcast like me or edit like me or do this task like me, okay, that's fine. Then don't make them do that. But figure out all the things that you say 100% someone can do,
Yeah.
and let me get rid of everything else other than the things that I either A, really enjoy,
Yep.
or B, truly are your brain and only can process what it is. Because there are
Right.
definitely some tasks that like you're going to be more skilled at than anyone you hire, period. And that's okay. But there's a lot of tasks that is probably under what you should be doing if you only have limited time.
Yep.
And not about that you're more important than tasks, but it's like if only certain tasks can be done by you, those are the only ones you should do. And anything that can be done by someone else, if you have the opportunity, delegate.
Yep.
Because then you can do more of what you actually like, which is the freedom
Yes.
side of things.
And then you'll have more time
Yes.
for the things that actually matter
Yes.
to you. So yes.
100%.
So that was all for myth number 2.
Lots to it.
Actually, I love this next one. This was probably one that I needed to change the most. It is one of my big focuses actually this year. So this is the myth of I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I've said that many times.
The hustle culture.
I'm excited about it. Come on back. That's the next episode. Hopefully you're not dead by then.